Look at verse 22. Notice he says, be not afraid. He mentions it again. Be not afraid. It must be important. It must be important. We talk a lot about being afraid to fail. I also want you to understand that sometimes you can deal with the fear of success. We're fairly familiar with being afraid to fail, because fear, again, shows you negative pictures and images of what could happen in the negative. But sometimes you can deal with fear on a level of succeeding. That you're afraid that what if this goes right? What if that door does open for you? What if God really has chosen you for that thing? What if God has anointed you to do that on a larger scale? Sometimes you can be afraid of success. You can be afraid that God really has aligned this thing up for you to operate in, and you can be intimidated of the opportunity. And that's where you've got to learn the art of speaking to yourself, encouraging yourself, building up your own spirit, building up your own mind, understanding that if God has brought the opportunity to you, then you must be the man for the job. If God has brought the situation into your life, you must be the woman that God has ordained to flow in that opportunity. You cannot be afraid. And I'm here to tell you, even if you are afraid, just walk up in there anyway. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I mean, your knees could be knocking and buckling. Just walk up in there anyway. I'm scared, but I'm going. Tell your neighbor, I may be afraid, but I'm going anyhow. I'm going anyhow. I'm going anyhow. I'm going anyhow. My destiny is counting on this. My family is counting on this. My children are counting on this. I've got to go in there anyhow. If God has opened the door, it must be for me. And you've got to push fear again out of your life. He tells him twice, be not afraid. Which shows us that the real enemy could be fear. That it could be fear. It could be fear that's attacking your emotions, your mind, your thoughts, causing you to think that it's not going to happen this time. But the devil is a liar. Look at verse 22. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring. I want you to get this. For the pastures of the wilderness do spring, for the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Why is he saying this? I want you to hear that again. He says, for the pastures of the wilderness, they do spring. For the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Now listen, this is what he is trying to convey to us here today. That those things that were designed to work, they're going to work. He says, now it's going to work. Now it's going to work. He says, look at it again now. He says, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring. Because look, previously, the pastures were barren. They were unfruitful. They were in a dry place. He says, now, but the pastures do spring. What is he trying to say? I've changed it. I've changed the situation. You were once in a dry place. You were once in a situation where you saw no fruit of your labor. You saw no fruit of what it is that you were trying to obtain. He says, now the pastures of the wilderness do spring. So now you're going to have a fruitful life that was once unfruitful. You see how you have to change your mind and change how you think? Because now you are coming into a place of supernatural productivity. You're coming into a divine release. You're coming into a harvest. You're coming into increase and abundance in your life. And that increase and abundance is not just financially, but it's going to manifest in multiple ways in your life. God is going to send a diversity of blessings in your life at this season in your life, because he is turning everything around to work out for your good. He says the wilderness do spring, for the tree beareth her fruit. He's saying that because the trees were not bearing fruit. They were not bearing fruit. You've been saved, you've been walking with God, but you were not bearing fruit. And now you're coming into a stage now in your life where you're going to bear fruit. You're going to bear fruit. Then he goes on to say the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. What wasn't working is now going to work. No, you don't hear this. What wasn't working is now going to work. That's a word for somebody. I don't know who this is for. What was not working is now going to work. And for somebody, you've been trying to get something to work for years and it has not worked. But God is saying, try it again. God is saying, look at it again. God is saying, try it one more time, because this time you're going to get the release. Apply one more time. Knock on that door again. Call up those people again, because what wasn't working prior to this experience is now going to work for your behalf. Now you're going to receive what you couldn't receive. Now you're going to reap what you couldn't reap. Now you're going to bring in what you couldn't bring in. Now you're going to have and possess what you could not possess, because God is saying now the fig trees are fruitful. Now he's saying the pastures are springing forth. What you need now is already made available. I'm not preaching, I'm prophesying. It's already made available. It's already at your disposal. And God is saying, do it again. Go at it again. This time it's going to flow. This time it's going to work. This time it's going to happen. This time they're going to call your name. This time you're going to get the release. This time you're going to come out of it.